Ladies and gentlemen, please notice that exits are conveniently located at the front and rear of this auditorium. When leaving the theater, we suggest that the exit at the front of the auditorium will allow you easier access to the parking areas. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And you're listening to Forgotten Cinema. Actually, we're doing our now showing episode. I should really write an opening. That's probably what I should do, is write an opening for this. But yeah, so every once in a while, Mike and I will go take in a film, one of our newer films, one of the newer films that are out there, and just kind of do a quick, hopefully brief 20 to 30 minute rundown of what we thought of the film, just, first impressions, that kind of stuff. So, Mike, what did we do this week? What was our big film we watched last night?
We're talking Twisters. Not one, but two of them. Well, really, there's like 5 of them or 6 of them in the movie, but yes.
I don't know where you were going with that. Yes, we watched Twisters last night, starring Daisy Edgar-Jones and Glen Powell.
Yeah. What we really watched was a mom 2
Anthony
rows in front
Ramos.
of us, like wooing the whole time Glen Powell said or did anything in the movie.
Oh, that was me.
That's what we watched.
That was me.
That was you.
That. Yeah, that
You
was
carried
me.
your voice well.
I think the one, because I know you laughed, was when she's looking off, and there's one scene when Kate, that's the lead, is looking off, like she's looking, and he's like walks out to her, and he's like doing this like cowboy walk. I'm like, that's got to be on purpose. Like nobody walks like that. Yeah. I thought that made me laugh. I was just like, what? So, we are both fans of the first film, Twister, starring Bill Paxton, rest in peace, Helen Hunt. There's actually a ton of people in this film.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, rest in peace.
I know. Don't depress me. But anyways, so Twister. I think I've told this story on the main show. When I saw Twister, I saw it in Connecticut, a WPLR screening of the movie. I saw it in the first row at Showcase Orange. I think Cinema 3. And it was like this. I was like looking straight up at it, and it was great. It was loud. I liked it. It's a movie that I think because I watched it as a young age, that it just kind of stays with you. It's a perfect summer film. It's goofy. It's got corny stuff. Jamie Gertz is corny in it, and she's all screaming and yelling half the time. This is the first film. So there's kind of like that when it's on TV, I'll watch it. So there's kind of like that nostalgic love for the film. So when Twisters was announced, I was excited about it. My wife is excited. I think we're going to see it again. If she's going to see it for the first time, I'm going to see it again. Because we like the first one, and I like Glen Powell. I like the people in the movie. So I was like, all right, I'm cool. Let's go. Let's watch this film. I'm excited. As long as you give me Twisters and you give me people escaping Twisters, I think we're pretty good. But we haven't really talked about the film in terms of if we both liked it. So kind of, where were you after you left the theater, and where are you now in terms of your thoughts about this film?
I was with you when I left the theater.
Yes, I know. We weren't talking too much.
It's got a lot of silly parts that I know we were poking fun of during the movie, but overall, it like when Elise asked me what I thought about the movie when I got home, she was like, "What did you think about it?" I was like, "Do you really want to know?" And she's like, "Oh, was it bad?" I go, "No, it was good, but I don't think you're gonna watch it." Like I don't think you're ever going to go to the theater with me and watch it. And it's a shame that it's going to leave the IMAX in like 4 days for Deadpool, because it really is an IMAX movie. There were some really good IMAX scenes. But overall, the more I think about it, the more I like it. And I think I was a little down on it first because it wasn't Twister, because I also saw Twister at a much younger age than you. I saw it right before a baseball game I had to go to, and it was cloudy and stormy, and it was like the game didn't get rained out, but it looked like it was going to thunderstorm. And coming out right at a Twister, you're like at like, however, when did Twister come out? The first one?
1996? No, not 96.
96.
96.
You're right. It's 96.
Yeah.
So yeah, getting out of the movie, 9 years old, you're looking up and it's all stormy and stuff. You're like, oh my God, the Twisters. And it's just the music, the acting. It's just like the bad guy was Mother Nature, which was really cool. And it's just a movie that you don't really get very often, or there was a lull within my childhood, and now you got again, because I know there was like Earthquake and Poseidon and all those kind of the movies, but it was huge to me. Like, I loved it, and I know Elise loved it. She wanted to be a storm chaser for a little while after when she saw the movie when she was a kid.
Who doesn't?
exactly. Twister was a really great movie. And so it's hard. We always talk about how it's unfair to compare the two, but you have to. It's fine.
Why are you using my voice?
Because I'm mocking us. I think I really like it. It's got all the hallmarks of Twister. Glen Powell is like oozing charisma. The special effects are really good. Like I said, in the IMAX, there were a couple of scenes, like especially when they're hiding from that first tornado and like the storm's coming and the sound's coming and all of our seats were vibrating. Like that's just really good. Like that's what I want in a summer blockbuster. That's really cool. So I think overall, I did like it. I did enjoy it. I do want to watch it again to kind of take it all in again. You know, I think I spent a little bit too much of the movie waiting for the Helen Hunt cameo that never came. Which there's parts of the movies I don't like because of that. Yeah, I think overall it was a really enjoyable time, and it's the kind of movie you don't get very often, not on the Sci-Fi Channel, like a well done version of this movie. Like obviously you get that on the Sci-Fi Channel all the time. These disaster movies that are just kind of like made for TV really quick. But this was
Sharktopus,
Sharknado, you know.
There were no sharks in this film. I was a little disappointed. There's no sharks in the Twister.
Yeah, where are all those sharks in Oklahoma coming? The Oklahoma sharks.
So I think if you watch it again, I think you'll start seeing stuff that maybe you kind of like, that's all right. That's all right. I think there's enough action in the film when we're watching it to get into cool. Like there's some, because it's our first time seeing it. I do appreciate that it seemed like there were a lot of practical effects. Like I'm thinking about the water tower that smashed with all the water everywhere. Somewhat practical, not completely.
Right. Yeah.
So there did seem to be a couple things like that. Obviously, there seemed to be a lot of CGI, but there was a lot of CGI in the first one. So who gives a crap? But like the science, like the thing that she's trying to do with this to the storm. And I'm thinking of when they're sitting in her barn, they're in her barn and they're like, they put the stuff in the model, like, okay, so let's input 45. And like, it looks like whatever you're doing looks stupid. It should have worked. So it should have worked. So in the beginning, when she does it, it's not that she got it wrong. It should have worked, but it didn't because it was too big. It was too strong of a storm. So that's why it didn't work.
Well, I think saying it didn't work because the model was bad. It wasn't that her experiment was bad. The model was bad. So therefore the experiment was never going to work because it works because the model was okay.
That's not
so
what
that's
they said.
why he comes up with new stuff.
They did the shitty model in the beginning and said it should have worked. It's just it wasn't an F1 or EF1. We're not calling them F1s. We're calling them EF1s. And F1, F5, F3, F4, those have a better ring to it. Like EF1, like they said it a couple times, regardless of that. They needed the data from the, what is it called again? Team PAR. They had to give them their data to figure out, like, to get more exact measurements, because they sat there when they were like, if you entered 4,500 and it was the winds were this, that should have worked. So that's what they had said in the beginning. Regardless of that, the science, even us sitting here talking about it being confused, it doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense. So that's kind of like, but that's not why we're there. We're there for the twisters. So I'm not really like being like, I get it.
And yet you are.
Well, that's because this is what we do. Like the quote unquote bad guys, the Team PAR stuff happens off screen a lot of times. Like the whole stuff with
in the background. Yeah.
Right. And to the point where like the movie, not that it slows down, but the movie just focuses in on Tyler and Kate. He goes to her house. He has dinner with her mother. There's like a whole 15 minutes, you think? 20 minutes, maybe?
Like 15.
Where like, we're both saying like, what are the other guys doing? Like we've just completely, like, we don't know, Tyler has left his team of tornado wranglers and she has left the Team PAR team. We don't know what they're doing. And a lot of that stuff with Javi and how it was his company and how the company is really kind of helping the governor or the mayor, whoever he is, buy up land so that he on the cheap when these houses are destroyed, and they're helping him figure out whether, like, all that stuff, like you said, is happening. It's not part of the story, but then it is part of the story. But so I felt like there was I felt like they introduced it enough where it was too big of a subplot to ignore. I know it's Kate's story, but it was too big of a subplot to ignore, to bring it up and then just kind of drop it. And then it comes in at the end. I mean, you knew what was going to happen. That Javi was going to turn his back on them and help them out and whatnot. So I just thought that like that kind of, it just kind of, not that I was like, oh, boo, but it was just like, all right, well, I guess we're just not going to worry about that. We're going to focus on shooting stuff into the tornado and stop it. I mean, those are my two biggest things, just kind of thinking about it. I probably need to watch it again, obviously, to maybe hone in on what actually maybe I'm not into about it. But I mean, I liked the action. I liked all the stuff with the tornadoes. I mean, who doesn't like that? I like the fact that she's some kind of tornado whisperer and she can figure out when the winds are shifting and all that stuff. They kind of do a good job of explaining that. Give me something. I'm done talking.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're just telling me that the rest of the movie is kind of dumb.
I didn't say it was dumb. I'm just saying that I'm just saying that everything but the twisters is just kind of okay. That's what I'm saying to you. I'm saying the Twister stuff is great, but then everything, like, I don't want to compare it. So like the side, like his team, you don't really get to know his team too well. Like
Sure,
they're not characters. They're just there.
You get to know them, I think, better than you get to know a lot of the team in the original Twister, though. I mean, that has the same issue. I mean, you look at it through rose-colored glasses. You don't really know them other than they like May's food and they like to eat. Like, that's pretty much what you know.
Okay.
I think you'd get to know these guys a little bit better. I think they all have they all have kind of different personalities, but I think the movie is more Javi, Kate, and oh my God,
Tyler,
their movie. I kind of like the background shady character of the rich tycoon guy buying everything up. Because it gives Javi something to do. I mean, they do address that. She calls Javi out on his BS. Right. And then at the end, he realizes, let's go help the town. And it's David Corensweet's character who's kind of speaking through the back, the backhanded tycoon guy. I don't care. He says, I don't care about the people. Let's get this data. I don't care. We got to sell more stuff. And it's like, that's when Javi realizes, I'm in the wrong business, and he has a change of heart. I like that better than Carrie Elway's character in Twister, who's kind of just a douche, just to be kind of like, just to have a bad guy storm chaser. And it's like, it didn't make a lot of sense in Twister, although I do like that he got his because he was kind of a douche. I like that Javi is a character who can have a change of heart, who has like a different kind of character arc. And they didn't just copy paste Carrie Elway's, because they absolutely could have. They could have just, for the most part, copy and pasted the whole movie, which they do still kind of.
In what way? Copying the first one?
Copy the first one a lot with like, here's what we need at 10 pages right now. We need a twister here. We need a twister here. We need them to survive the twister. That's why you're there. Exactly.
You're there for the twisters.
Oh yeah. They had no choice, but like, I like that part of the movie. I kind of liked that. I like that Javi had something to do, although would I have liked it better without a Javi character? Maybe. You would have given Kate and Tyler more time. Because in Twister, it's all Bill and Joe's movie.
Yeah, I don't think you need the opening scene. I think you can have a scene where Kate explains why she's like, you can meet her storm chasing, and she's just mean to Tyler or whatever like that, and then you can have a scene where he finds out about what happened to her team and stuff like that. I think that, and the scar, like, oh, why'd you get that scar? Like, I think you can have that in there, and I think it would provide a nice little moment for the two characters, the two actors to kind of work in that scene. I don't think you like having the opening, and then she's like someone she loves, like that she's her boyfriend, it's her boyfriend. Like. You have that, and then it's 5 years later, and now you've set up another love interest for her. So now she's got two love interests in the film, and it's kind of like, well, okay, but like you can't really like. I know the big thing that was going on was how Steven Spielberg told them to get rid of the kiss at the end,
right?
Because it would work better, and he's right, because it doesn't work. He's right and he's wrong, because it doesn't work with the kiss. I think that's too much, but also. They didn't set up enough the fact that Tyler wouldn't stay. Like the whole thing when he drills it down like he was gonna stay and he's gonna dig in and he's gonna stay with her, he's gonna fight for her, he's gonna chase her. They didn't build that up enough throughout the movie where like she makes a move or whatever it is, and he's like, no, I'm not part of that. I don't want to be tied down. Like I'm a tornado. Like they never really do that enough for that moment when he like goes and gets her, and you hear Javi going, that a guy. Like that's fun to see in the moment, but you don't really set that up enough in the movie.
No, if anything, he was always going to go after her. Yeah,
right. But for it to hit as much as you wanted it to hit that moment. So Spielberg's right in what he said to get rid of the kiss, but there wasn't enough to kind of hit home what you're trying to do there. But that being said, I just think there's things like that just kind of like, so I don't think you need that opening, which is a nice opening. I just don't think you need it. I also don't like there's stuff in that opening that I joked with you, like how many times they're going to bring up climate change, and they do. They bring it up a couple of times, and that's fine. I get it. Like, but like, and I'm not denying and I'm not a denier, but it's always a subplot, a plot point in movies now. Just like AI is always the bad guy. That's like, you know what I mean? It's always the go-to plot point to put in there. And that happens throughout history in terms of writing, throughout decades of whatever's hot button. Like if you watch films in the 70s, it's about big oil all the time and the government spying and all that stuff, which is still now. But like there's moments where like when they're in the beginning of the scene, the first scene of the movie, they're running to the underpass, and like he says, like that's a fallacy or something. Like that's not, you know what I mean? Remember that
he says
line?
That's actually the unsafest place to be in a storm. Yeah.
Like why do you wouldn't say that in the moment? That is there's no reason that dialogue comes out in the moment when the tornado is beating down on you, and you're like, you're gonna deliver some kind of like, well, actually, let me tell you some fact about that. No. That's not, so that line is there. So that kind of dialogue, Mike, doesn't fit in the scene because it's clearly there for us. And in the moment, it doesn't ring true. And so it pulls me out of the film a little bit. Maybe it doesn't pull everybody out. Maybe I'm just being stupid and picky, but that kind of stuff, that little dialogue stuff like that is throughout the film. And sometimes I'm just like, all right, that's kind of, no one would say that, like stuff like that. I mean, that's just one example. So that's kind of stuff that what I'm telling you when I say like the rest of it's okay. And I'm sure I can go through Twister, the first one, and nitpick that as well. But that's what I'm saying when I say like, oh, Twisters are great, but everything else is just, it's okay. It's good. It's enough. It was a fun summer movie. If I watch it again, I maybe have a different opinion, bad or good. I don't know. But that's kind of like, where I am. What? I'm sorry. I can't walk out of a theater and be like, that's great. A+.
I mean, bad, good, whatever. It's going to be bad. It's already going.
No, that's not true. I didn't like Man of Steel in the theater, and ever since it's on, I watch it. I'm like, you know what? I really do like Man of Steel. So sometimes it takes a while for me to watch a movie, and that's how they are. You can't watch a movie once and be like, that is the greatest movie I've ever seen. I mean, every once in a while, there's a movie like that where you just like, it's really good and you want to see it again. But that's very rare. Like The Dark Knight, The Matrix, Raiders of the Lost Ark, like those first Jaws, the first experiences when you love a film and you're like, this movie is something special. I'm just saying Twisters ain't it right now. Not right now.
Okay. I think it's still a good movie. I think it's still
I didn't
a
say
fun
it's
movie.
not a good movie. I want to see it again.
Sure.
How about that? But
this isn't a video about you watching it again. This is a video about.
But you're taking that, like if I have one little criticism about the film, you're telling me it's not. I'm saying it's not good. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that
it's fine. It's fine to not like the film. You can say you didn't like it.
I didn't say I didn't like the film. See, that's the thing. You're painting me. Don't paint me into like yes or no. I'm saying I'm like, yes, there's things I like, and yes, there's things I don't like yet, or I don't really understand, and I don't get. But like, it doesn't mean I don't like the film. It just means that I'm just not sitting here going, I'm not going to, put Twisters on my top 5 for my entire life.
You act like I was asking you to do that.
No, but you're like, well, you don't like the film. It's okay not to like the film. Like, I'm not saying I don't like the film. I just don't love it right now. I enjoyed it. It was a fun experience. I made fun of it half the time, but that's what I do in movies. So that's kind of, you can't really go based on that.
In terms of everybody dying at the beginning, I like that sequence at the beginning. I just think Javi had to go, or Javi had to be a less important character. He recruits her and then he's out of the picture. Hey, the army gave me these devices and I'm working for that. Yeah, but
Or
then he's
like,
Carrie
yeah.
Elways. But you could definitely make David Cornsweet's character, or Cornsweet, or however you pronounce it, Superman's character,
Well, you better
a
know
little
because
more,
he's Superman.
a little bit more evil. Like I would have liked to see him. I would have liked to see him get something by the tornado, because no one gets got.
No,
Like none of the main characters get hit by the tornado during it. And I think that lowers the stakes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I think you kill off all those characters at the beginning so that you don't have to kill off any of the teams at the end. And I think that you lose some connection. Like, I don't care that motel owner number 7 got sucked into the tornado.
What are you talking about, Mike? Mike, there was 3 or 4 separate scenes where they're like, we got to help the people. We got to help the people. We got to help them. Let's go. Come on, everybody. Let's go. You didn't like that? That didn't touch your heart?
I was okay with that. I mean, it didn't touch my heart.
I'm saying it didn't touch my heart either. That's what I'm saying. Like there's a lot of that in there that it's always like, it's about the people. You don't understand. This is about the people. Like, okay, it's not.
Well, I get that. You're saying that's
No. I'm saying I'm not in the theater for that. I'm in the theater for watching people chase tornadoes. That's why I'm in this theater.
Sure. But I also agree that you need something in there to be like, it's not all like tornadoes, awesome. Like when you see stuff on TV, it's like, yeah, but it destroys people's lives.
Of course, but that's not why, again, yes, but that's not why we're watching Twisters, is it? Be honest. That's not why you're watching Twisters.
It's a 2-minute scene of them helping the town, and then you get the tornado scene in the motel, which is awesome in the rodeo.
The motel, the first time they go and stop, the second time they go and stop, and then towards the end when they're like helping everybody. Like, I'm just saying, it's like it's on repeat. Like when they go see the mother and Kathy Mortier's character is talking about like the price of everything's up, and then but I still stay, like all that stuff. Like it's just. So I want my summer movies to be summer films where it's escapist. I don't want my summer films to kind of. Do you know what I mean?
Sure. Okay, I get that.
But then next week when we see, I always like the what if-isms.
Then next week when we see Deadpool versus Wolverine, you're going to have the exact opposite opinion.
What am I going to say?
Of like how like escapism is just too much.
No, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say that I don't like the Deadpool shtick. It wears thin halfway through Deadpool, and I'm already tired of. I mean, Deadpool's problem is not the movie; it's the hype, and it's everywhere, and it's like just come out already. Like it's enough. Like I'm supposed to be like, oh, they're talking about pegging. Like, okay, and like it's like, who cares? Like. That's a different movie. We'll talk about that later. But then and my problem with Deadpool is the Deadpool character is the shtick. I think it's just way too much. And you have the same problem.
Sure, but I'm not mocking this movie for trying to do a little something.
I'm not mocking
not just being pure escapism.
That's not why I'm in the theater. You tell me a summer movie that does what it does, what Twisters does, then you're okay with. Like you're good with, you want to come in here and it's like, what are you going to do now, Mike? Are you going to go and chase tornadoes for the people?
I mean, am I going to make money?
No, it was clearly no one makes money. Like I get why in the movie, I get why the tornado wranglers are doing it for YouTube views, which makes sense.
Right.
And I get why Team Par is doing it, but there's nobody else. There's other people that are around that like, what do they do? Are they doing it for other research grants? Like they don't really kind of dive into it. I mean, in the first one, they don't ever talk about like what Carrie Elway's team is doing.
I thought he's being videotaped too. Like he's doing it for. Isn't he videotaping? I don't remember. I thought I remember. I was gonna watch Twister right before this, and I didn't get a chance to.
You were telling me in the theater you didn't like the callback to Twister with Dorothy's 5 or 6 or whatever.
I don't. So I was gonna bring that. Yeah. So this is Dorothy 5 because Dorothy 4 is what took off in Twister. So they've clearly made one more because Dorothy gets sucked up at the end of Twister. But there's no connection. We haven't
used it.
There's no callback to Helen Hunt's character or Bill Paxton's character. You know, you spend most of the movie thinking that Daisy Edgar-Jones's character, Kate, is going to be the daughter of Helen Hunt's character and Bill Paxton's character, and she's not. And I think that's a big like, why did they don't ever explain why they have Dorothy, why they're still using this ancient beat up piece of equipment when they could have just made something new. You know, if
was
you
that
don't
really
want
a rumor?
Yeah, everybody thought there was going to be some kind of connection.
I didn't know. I didn't think that. No, I didn't think anything like that.
Oh, see, I was waiting the entire time, especially when you introduce Dorothy. If you don't want to connect it, don't connect it. Don't have Dorothy. or explain why they have Dorothy. And the director had his own excuse as to why he didn't include Helen Hunt. And it's that I think Joe's still chasing tornadoes. I don't think she ever stopped. So why would she be at home caring about her daughter and wondering why her daughter didn't come home to visit?
Mid to late 60s.
Yeah.
I was tornadoes still?
I don't think she'd still be chasing tornadoes. And I think why couldn't she also still care about her daughter coming home and seeing her after 5 years of never having seen her, especially if you have to explain what happened to Bill Paxton's character. Like, I think that's a lame excuse of I couldn't get her, but you don't need it because I came up with a reason. She was never going to be in it. If she was never going to be in it, I don't think Dorothy should be in it. Like I just think that was dumb. Your Dorothy is these polymers. That's it. I don't think you should have had
the absorbent material that they yeah.
And then you have another Wizard of Oz thing with Stormpar having Scarecrow, Lion, Tin Man, and
you're right.
Wizard.
I didn't even catch that. Yeah, that was yeah. Well, I mean, that makes sense if Javi's using Dorothy, so maybe I get that.
So then Javi better be the son.
I don't know. Yeah. I was just reading the one sentence byline they have on IMDb Pro. Retired tornado chaser and meteorologist is persuaded to return to Oklahoma to work with a new team and new technologies. Nah. It's not really what happens, but all right.
It makes her sound like she's old, like a retired storm chaser.
I know. I know. And I want to point out that if you look at, because I said to Mike, I'm going to point this out. If you look at the poster for this film, it's the poster I'm talking about. The film is when you have the three leads looking toward the poster, looking up, and the Twister's right behind them. And it's like, guys, turn around. Like that's what it feels like. But anyways. All right. So, I guess, I got nothing else unless you got something I want to talk about, but that's our kind of initial thoughts. I know because I want to keep these short.
The Twisters are cool. I think it's worth seeing. I think catch it in IMAX if you can before it goes away.
It's gone. But no one's going to catch this.
Yeah. By Thursday night, it's going to be out of the IMAX.
But I think you're right. This is a better IMAX film than Deadpool. And I haven't even seen Deadpool and Wolverine, but I think this is definitely a better IMAX film to have in there. The seats shake and it's just loud and you got the wind above you and going all around. So I think that works. But I think Deadpool and Wolverine is it's going to be big and loud and got a lot of fights and gunplay and action, but I don't think I think Twisters could use one more week in there. I think it's definitely a large format film.
Yeah,
for sure. Totally. So awesome. So I guess check out Twisters. Don't listen to me, apparently, according to Mike, and listen to Mike because it's, everything's great and I'm not allowed to have an opinion. I'm just kidding. What else you want to say?
I got some things I'd like to see. I got nothing. Thanks for watching. Right, if you guys like Forgotten Cinema and you want to hear us bicker more, you can watch Forgotten Cinema. We come out with a new episode every Wednesday. We're about to start our new season 18. The adventure continues next week. This season includes our Forgotten Horror season that starts at the end of October, or starts during the entire month of October with bonus episodes. If you guys want to support the show, listen to extra episodes. We have a lead-up series about Alien going on right now, leading up for our now showing for Alien Romulus. Check that out, and we'll be back next week with another now showing for Deadpool Wolverine.
That's right. So get ready for another fight, apparently. I'm going to have to try to watch Deadpool 2, and just to kind of get acquainted with things, because it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a long while. All right. All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll see you around. I'm Mike Field.
I'm Mike Butler.
And this has been Forgotten Cinema, now showing Twisters in theaters now.
Not sponsored.
Not yet.